Welcome to All About Perspective, where I will be sharing my perspective on stuff that I care about. Recently I finished watching second season of Marvel's Punisher, and here is my perspective on that. Let's start with spoiler-free part. Punisher is by far best Marvel series on Netflix. I'm really sorry, but all other so-called heroes Sam Axe would describe as bunch of bitchy little girls. I'm in for a story. For what and how, not why. Sadly, most new storytellers and writers care more about whys than telling proper stories. But that's just me. My biggest issue with whys is that it is too subjective and mostly unrelated to main story. We can figure out whys by ourselves. So right off the bat, I would definitely recommend Punisher's second season to anyone who liked first one, or just sympathize to a person that actually stops criminals from killing innocents. Not talks with them, not bores them to death, but actually makes sure that justice is served. It starts almost instantly and gets my attention up to episode number 8 and kind of falls apart for a little while. However, writers still choose to spoil first episode by starting it with a glimpse from a future. I do hate that. I live in present and want to experience story properly without jumping like a time rabbit. Unless that is the main story. This flash forward was very lame, and I will never understand any writer who uses spoilers. Especially starting season with one. I'm against all flashes forward or backward, doesn't matter, as they never really contribute to main story, but only attempt to justify why this particular character does what it does, when writer can't write a good script that makes sense on its own. Let's get to some ratings. Fast forward rating I would say is around 30%. Compared to first season where we had to watch how Bill dresses up and Frank struggles with himself for no reason, it's a big step up. This rating is how much I could cut out without damaging main story. 30% is not that much. Most Marvels on Netflix I would rate even above 70% in this category. It also shows how much clicking I must do not to die of boredom. Sorry, I am in for a story and everything else is a waste of my time. Probably that's just me. Overall rating would be 7 out of 10, which is quite high for me. 10 is perfect and nobody ever is. Also, I just like this character and even Netflix dumbed down version is fine, but still falls behind compared to Dolph Lundgren's Punisher in 1999. That's just my opinion. I like a little bit darker, a little bit more serious Punisher without this blah 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 stuff. Spoiler alert! If you plan on watching and don't want any spoilers, now is the time to leave, if you didn't leave yet. Believability I would rate 3 out of 10. Leaving blood everywhere, carrying guns and not using them. Being punched like a sack of potatoes and getting back on feet in hours after you get shot, have broken bones. Well, to me it's not believable at all. It doesn't matter much though, as this is Marvel. Storytelling I could picture as a solid 3 split in half as 2 storylines. One would be called Save the Girl, and yeah, Kill Bill. Well, Netflix again could not avoid serving us vomit. I mean, Russo had to be resurrected and dropped into play again. Well, luckily he was not Frank's main problem but Madani's. Even while Frank was the one landing killing shot, but I will stick to my perspective. If hero defeats a villain he was after whole season, resurrecting it only shows writers and storyteller impotence to come up with something better. Basically they just repeat same success because yeah, they already seen that it worked. Kinda. Second time is a charm. No, it isn't. And like they try to prove my point, how do you feel about deja vu with Frank's new BFF Cop Mahone? He wants to catch Frank. He does it. He almost dies. Frank saves his life and yeah, he can't shoot Frank anymore in his ass when Frank leaves. Sounds familiar? Yeah, sadly. Why do you have guns, Frank, when you are planning on using them? Well, he used guns in season's final scene. It was funny. Why didn't he do that before? Beats me. They kinda made a big deal about his mask and blah 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 and ugly face, and when Russo took off his mask I was sincerely freaked out by how undamaged his face was. Well, yeah, made no sense to me. Who does facial plastic surgery on someone who might never be able to wake up? Also, running around in mask is never suspicious at all, never was, never will be. Apparently nobody from law enforcement even bothered to use their brains. I mean, the guy was tied to bed for God knows how much time, and had only one person to truly interact and bond to. His psychiatrist, and nobody bothered to keep an eye on her after Billy Boy escaped. Nobody, wow. The bad preacher was painted as what would happen if Frank would be for hire. And I always smile when hero and villain have indirect contests like Frank kicks gang ass, preacher does the same. It will never live up to our expectations, even if they would have a nice fight in the end. They didn't even have one. Police station attack by bad guys was attempted many times before. In Punisher, however, most of gunfire was done outside in the woods and we were shown just glimpses. It's kinda interesting approach, but nothing more. Also, I was surprised that Bill can kill two guys that disagree with him in cold blood, and rest brothers do nothing. Well, today these two, tomorrow someone else, why the hell not? Nobody cares anyway, and they were dying like flies. Setting up Frank as a woman killer was the right move to throw him off rails. Still, Frank could pay attention to how and what he sees, instead of immediately assuming that he is the one to blame. Most likely he could figure out that he is not the one who killed these women just by checking their corpses, but yeah, why would he? It's always best to blame himself. Also, do you really think that if he saw Bill entering that room, he wouldn't follow him but stop there? Of course, who cares about Bill and poor girl that needs protection? Not his Frank with his messed up priorities. I do not believe in that at all. But that's what we were shown. Bill actually surprised me when he agreed to leave with his new love, instead of unleashing hell on Earth. The guy has really changed. This storyline with Bill did not interest me much, sadly. Probably because I saw this crap already in first season. And repetition might be the mother of all learning, but in series it is just plain boring. Also, we finally saw what happens in reality when criminal tries to stay awake during bullet recovery from his belly. He passes out and good, doctor gets away with the money. Nice touch even while it was done only to kill Bill finally. Is it me, or we experience way too happy ending for Punisher? Bad preacher alive, with both sons, Frank alive and kicking, or should I say killing? Only Bill is dead, and his doctor is in hospital. But Danny's call also was funny, just to tell us that she is in CIA now. Does that mean that in next season Frank will have to go overboard and help her? Doubt that. Netflix has not officially confirmed season 3 at the moment, but with Disney Plus launch this year it is highly unlikely. This was my perspective on Punisher's second season, and I really hope Punisher will be renewed. Let me know your perspective on Punisher, and remember, fast forward is always an option.